Dave and Mick Clark were well known in Aylesbury during the 60s. They were mods, but were sent to prison for malicious wounding and carrying a firearm without a licence. Dave is coming to Aylesbury on Saturday the 16th of August at 3 p.m. to tell his story of how he turned his life round. This is at Wadston Hill Street Baptist Chapel. This is an open invitation to all. Dave is also meeting old friends on Thursday the 7th of August at 2 p.m. at the New Zealand pub in Aylesbury. You're all welcome to come and join us. Dave had a 3-year career of undetected crime when he left Borstal in 1968, but had a sudden change of heart after a bad experience on LSD, and he turned his life around and back on crime. Mick Clark was unaffected. He was Dave's older brother. He was unaffected by his brother's change of life and continued his flamboyant lifestyle, and he ended up serving a 16-year prison sentence in the Philippines, where he died of tuberculosis in May 2005. Mick Clark was Dave's older brother, and they were mods and became criminals in the 60s. Michael served time in Oxford Detention Centre on 2 occasions, and then Rochester Borstal. On Michael's release from Borstal, they were both sent to prison for malicious wounding and carrying a firearm without a licence. Michael was sent to Maidstone Prison, home of one of the Crays, and Dave, at the age of 17, was sent to Dover Borstal, an old haunt of Rod Stewart. It took David a year after his conversion to inform the police of his undetected criminal past, when he confessed to 24 crimes for which he was not sentenced. Having turned his back on crime and his criminal past, he read the Bible and a range of Christian literature. This was to educate himself. Dave went on to higher education, became a lecturer and a member of the Bearton Stricton Particular Baptist Church in 1976. He taught electronics for over 20 years at Luton College of Higher Education and Fareham College. The Bearton Particular Baptists were Calvinistic, and David was convinced that these truths were taught in the Bible and they differed from the Arminian teaching that was prevalent in many churches of his day. David was called by the Lord in 1982 to preach, and sent by the church to preach the gospel wherever the Lord opened the door for him to speak. He spoke in many churches in England. David seceded from the Bearton Church in 1984 over matters of conscience and experienced many life-changing difficulties. However, in 1995, David heard the shocking news of his brother, of his arrest and imprisonment in the Philippines. Then, 5 years later, with some 30 years after David's own conversion, in September 2000, Michael too was converted from crime to Christ and was baptised as a Christian in New Bilibid Prison. It was then that David felt compelled to write his story entitled Converted on LSD Trip, and to go on a mission to bring assistance to Michael and to celebrate his conversion. This followed by a further mission to preach to many convicted criminals in the jails of the Philippines in 2002. Sadly, Michael died of tuberculosis in New Bilibid Prison before their vision of bringing practical help to many was realised. The fuller story is told in David and Michael's joint book, Trojan Warriors. It was by chance that during that Philippine mission, on the 22nd of December 2002, that the last of the Bearton Church members died. David remained the sole active Bearton Church member, and the chapel was sold against David's wishes. One recent project has been to turn his story into a punk rock opera called Borstal Boy, and has been designed to be performed in the prisons of the UK. Join our Facebook group, Borstal Boys Mod Musical, and subscribe so we can keep you informed of events.